once it gets to the committee.
So you think it's still, though, appropriate to go to the committee?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Supervisor.
Mr. Chairman, because this is just public expression, not agenda item, why don't, just have the chair direct the CEO's office and county council office to look into this further and come back with a report, and then maybe the report will say that it should be sent to one of the committees. Do it that way. But to jumpstart the process, have the CEO's office and county council office start looking into it.
Why?
Because I don't know, we need to know what the laws are and what the facts are and everything before.
Yeah, and that's what, right, my intention was for the county council and the CEO to start the development of the rules and regulations and laws governing this situation, be prepared to start taking action on the 12th and not formulating and hugging and singing around the campfire the normal first discussion at the committee, and agendize it for the 6th, for the referral on the 12th to do just that. So,
Mr. Chairman, if you'll indulge me just for one
Sure.
more second. My feeling is here, if we're talking about a rent control ordinance, this might not be the right route to go. We may have a problem there that is very specific, having to do with a very categorical set of problems. And that's why I would hate to see an awful lot of effort being put into a beautiful rent control ordinance that goes down on a 3-2 or a 4-1 or whatever kind of vote, because it's too much. It's a big hammer to use to drive a rather small nail. Not small for the people involved, but certainly in terms of implications for the housing situation in the county in general. I don't want to get into that discussion when we're trying to deal with this specific problem. That's my preference. I want to have an opportunity to look at other options that would be more specific to protect, for example, senior citizens living in mobile homes in Mendocino County. Can something be worked up by county council on this? I don't know. But I am not very hopeful about seeing a rent control ordinance moving forward on the basis of a month or two consideration here at this Board of Supervisors. I think it's too big an undertaking. It requires a non-emergency kind of discussion. And again, I apologize. I know this is only public input, but it's important input that we're getting here this morning. We did have a little bit of a glitch, so I apologize for that.
county council.
Well, my suggestion is go ahead and let's get it on the agenda for the 22nd and have the full discussion. The agenda item could be referral, on the 6th, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Referral to a committee, and then we can have that full discussion at that time and decide whether or not you want to refer it to a committee or direct staff to bring something back to you.
Yes. Okay. Mr. Rose, it will be on the agenda for the 6th.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. And one thing we do want to be certain is that we dot our i's and cross our t's on this. We don't want to happen to here in Mendocino what happened in Marin County. And you have a very nice law officer over there, and I think she's going to help you out on it. And thanks again, Tom.
Thank you, Mr. Rose. Whew, we're off to a good start today. Okay. To the clerk, do we have any timed items before lunch? We do have, proclamation.
Yes, at 11:30.
11:30. We do have other members here. Let's go ahead and, while the sheriff and the representatives are here, take up item 4 then. Revise fixed asset schedule amendment to the 0708 final budget and authorize sheriff's office to purchase fixed assets, various non-general funds as amended. So to the CEO's office.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This item has been brought forward today. Our office has been working with the sheriff's office, much like the situation we had with General Services several months ago. In going through and reviewing our records, we've discovered that not all of the fixed assets that we purchased in the county have been recorded, and your board has not approved the purchase of those fixed assets. These are technical corrections, but as a matter of of policy and of law. Your board is the authorized party to approve the purchase of fixed assets. That should normally be done as part of your budget process every year. We've taken actions in our office to ensure that in the future we do capture all of those fixed assets, but the use of the funds by the sheriff and the listing of the assets has been thoroughly reviewed by our office, and I think both offices are in concurrence. There are a few items on there that are duplications. For instance, the patrol boat, your board did technically go through and approve that. That is a grant from State Boating and Waterways, but this is our attempt to get you an all-inclusive list just to correct the books of record for the auditor's office and for your board's formal action.
Questions of the board? How about to the sheriff? Sheriff, do you have comment on this item?
I do, Mr. Chair, and thank you for the opportunity. And it's been a pleasure to work with your new CEO because he's bringing policies and laws to us that both I had not been aware of and other members of the Sheriff's Office. So thank you for allowing us to be put on the straight and narrow, Mr. Mitchell. Basically, the fixed assets are basic patrol items and disaster equipment that we're dispersing throughout the county, and I can cover some of them real quickly. Our new patrol boat for the coastal sector will be delivered the last week of May. We've been promised it'll be delivered here before Memorial Day, and one of the fixed assets that we need is for the sheriff's radio inside the boat. The rest of the boat has been the funding has been approved and so forth. We're purchasing 2 covers for the boat and for quad runners so they don't sit out in the weather and deteriorate. And I want to talk about the disaster containers that I've been discussing on and off with the board for the last couple of years. This is a good week for Mendocino County. Disaster containers have been put on the ground. We have 2 that have been placed in Well Gulch in the far northwest corner of Mendocino County, and 3 that will be placed in Albion either late this week or early next week. On Thursday of this week, I meet with 9 fire departments to discuss emergency disaster containers. And what these are, they're shipping containers that the sheriff's office is purchasing, and the communities are going to stock them with supplies. And so this idea is finally coming to fruition, but they're going to need approval from the board for the fixed asset expenditure. I want to assure the board that this property, even though it's going to the fire departments and it'll be maintained by the fire departments, will remain the property of the sheriff's office in the county of Mendocino. And if the simple agreement isn't carried through with of maintenance, of keeping them secure and keeping them available for all the use of all of Mendocino County, then the containers will be picked up and taken to locations where they will be needed. That's all, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Supervisor Delaware.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Sheriff, I'm the one who pulled this off the consent, and I appreciate your comments and those of the CEO. And it sounds as though there's now an understanding of the process and the policies involved with asset purchases. In looking at the long list of assets here, someone took my budget book, so I was going to look and see and compare what we actually approved versus what's